Welcome to the Kinetic Spine and Sport podcast. I am Dr. Luke, your host.
And I am Tyler.
Yeah. And Tyler is normally the magician behind the camera, but today I wanted to get him in front of the camera. So we are in episode 11, and I guess I get to thank you guys face to face.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you guys for helping us put this on. And today we're just going to talk a little bit about kind of this project that we're working on, and then also how our businesses cross and connect a little bit, and what that kind of looks like playing forward.
Absolutely.
So my first question for you, though, was take us through your route with the MoonDogs / Habaneros, because I know you've kind of had different positions, different experiences.
So this will be my 5th season with the organization. I started out in 2021 as just an operations intern, got handed a camera and was told to, catch the play at first. So, from there I moved into more of the video production side of stuff and working on the back end with making sure that we get all our graphics in on the stream, making sure that, all those little things that you see out on the video board get up, making sure that our social medias have highlights, all those kinds of things. 3rd year, I kind of moved more into the social media aspect of it and scoring the games, making sure that all of our stats are updated, taking care of Danny and all the other coaching staff's needs and all that kind of stuff within there. And then 4th year, I took over as more of like the creative director, handling more of the marketing aspect of stuff, and have just kind of stayed there for this 5th year now. So it's been a long 5 years of just having fun in sports.
Cool. Yeah, and I'm sure if you went through your, what are the tasks that I've done over the last 5 years, it would probably be a super long list of all sorts of
things. I mean, that's the joys of working in such a small sports thing, is you get to wear so many different hats. I've done sales, I've done creative director stuff, I've made logos. The All-Star logo was one of mine that I made this last year. That was kind of a big feather in my cap, that seeing all those people walking around with it on t-shirts and hats. So
that's mine.
Cool.
And if we take it just one step back, so I know it was a part of your internship stuff to be here. So where did that schooling part come from?
So I went to school at MSU for sports management, needed to do my internship hours, 450 of them in that first summer, and just kind of fell in love with it. I knew that I wanted to continue with my schooling, so I knew that eventually I would have to do another internship. And I stayed with the MoonDogs, just kind of cultivating that relationship and building so that when I did do that next internship with them, I'd be able to get a lot more hands-on, not just operation setup, teardown, and running a camera. I'd be doing a lot more. And that's really what happened. So I finished with my master's degree last December, actually. So about 4 years into working here.
Cool. And I know that we had Dr. Z on, who is a big faculty portion of that, and she shared a little bit about just the cool connection between MSU and the MoonDogs. But tell everybody a little bit about, it's not like there's one intern here.
Right, yeah, so this year is actually our largest intern class. We're hiring, it's looking like 25, 26 interns, and in a major that has, 100 to 150 kids, that's a large portion of the major coming through here, and that's an every year thing. I want to say last year, between the Habaneros and this MoonDogs, we sat around 24. Year before that was 14, so it's an area where most people who have gone through the program has had at least one summer with the MoonDogs, it seems.
Yeah.
So it's a very nice tie that we have here, to have such a great program and then have such a great organization that we can work with to get those hours and to get that experience for all these students.
Yeah. And I think I know the answer to this, but is it only MSU students that intern here?
No. So we've actually since I've been here, we've had students from SDSU, another local with Bethany and Gustavus. We've had one from TCU a couple years ago. So
Frogs.
go Frogs. They come from everywhere. It's a lot of them do have ties to the Mankato area.
Sure.
Those that are coming from SDSU or TCU, but in general, we take them from everywhere. Our broadcaster this year and last year was from Ball State. Before that, he was from Bowling Green, and before that, Beloit. So, I mean, it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, just has to start with a B.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. I didn't even think about that one.
Yeah. Cool. And I had one other. Oh, so for the people that have interned here and spent some time with you guys, where have some of them ended up?
That's an awesome question. We're actually going to be doing a lot about that this summer with, so this summer is 24 years of MoonDogs in Mankato. The following summer is going to be 25. So we're kind of trying to push more on like where are our interns now? Where have some of them gone? The guy who did media relations before I did, Connor, he is a SID out in North Carolina now. Will Rode, he is the guy who did the video production before me. He's now an assistant athletic director up at St. Thomas, I believe. So, there's people, they're going around to a whole bunch of different places. I believe Matt, he's working with Kinetic, so working in the merchandise and retail end of stuff, and he was a promo guy for us in 2022.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's people who have obviously been here before me, and we're going to try to find out where some of them have gone off to now, too.
Yeah. It's always cool to circle back with people like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you can kind of share that with the new people on the way in.
Exactly. Everybody, when they come in here, they want to know where they're able to go. Like, what am I doing here? Is this just me punching hours, that 450 that I need to graduate, or am I actually gaining anything from here? So being able to show people that this is a starting point, and where you want to go, it's up to you from here.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's part of why this building is kind of good for that, because we work with a bunch of interns too, and we use it the same way. It's a place to build experience. It's a place to try things out. It's a place to make some connections.
Yes.
And it's also a place that if you go and you spend your time there and you feel like, oh, this isn't the right thing for me, that's also a good thing to have happen in this space.
That is one thing that I keep telling people. You might not find what you want to do here, but you will probably find something that you don't want to do. And that is just as valuable as knowing what you want to do.
100%. I think my student interns at my clinic are probably like 50%. 50% come in, and they all come from different backgrounds too, right? Like some of them are in their head for sure going to chiropractic school or PT school or whatever it is. And some of them are unsure, which is just fine.
Yeah.
But I'd say 50% of them go through their internship at my clinic and are reaffirmed, like, yep, I want to go this route. And then the other 50 go, this is not what I thought it was.
Exactly.
I'm going to do something different. Good for you.
And this is the time to do it.
Yeah.
When you're interning, not when you've graduated and you're going out into the world and you're getting that first job and you're like, and this isn't what I wanted to do. You still have the time to pivot if you want to and figure out exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, 100%. So I love those areas that give that for people regardless of where they are, in their timeline.
Exactly.
So super cool. Let's talk a little bit about the other interactions that you guys do with businesses.
Yes.
So I know there's different types of sponsorships, different types of partnerships.
Yep.
But just share a little bit about like what are some of the main categories of things that you guys have to work through every year to make sure you're set for
so
your
like
season?
a big thing, I mean, we just got our schedule internally, so there's a lot of stuff going on with that right now. So, making sure which days we have to get hotels for incoming players, pre-game, post-game meals, figuring out, who's doing what days those people are doing it, and figuring out what benefits them. Are we trading out half of it? Are they getting a fence sign? How much cash is being traded in this? Those kinds of things. So that is something that goes constantly year-round. We're having end of the season, we're talking to those people already, seeing what did they like, what did they not like, what can we do to fix that for them moving into the future, because we don't want to lose them, because they bring a very valuable aspect to what we do here. And, same with the hotels. We got to figure out how many hotel dates are we going to have. How many rooms are we going to have? Is it a softball? Is it a baseball one? Softball's going to be less hotel rooms than the baseball because it's 36 guys compared to 18 girls.
Sure.
That's a big difference on some of those things there. And then on top of it, we just have businesses who they like what we do. They want to be involved in the community. So they want to obviously market their company, but they want to just be involved and help bring these guys into Mankato, have them experience what they experience, bring something to the community in the sense of you got the Maba kids and all those younger kids who get to see these guys play and, emulate them and eventually someday get to this level as well.
Sure.
So there's so many different aspects of like what we do with each business in the sense of, some of them are trade, some of them are just straight partnerships, some of them are, just straight sponsors who are just trying to help us do what we try to do.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the cool things about you guys when we've gone through our just little discussions about that. You guys are always creative about what solutions or connections you can make.
Yes.
It's not like here's our option 1, option 2, option 3. You guys do a good job of saying like here's our categories of stuff.
Yep.
What works for you, what doesn't work for you, and then how can we kind of twist those dials a little bit.
Yeah, this thing might not work exactly for you, but what can we do to make it work for you? Because that makes you want to do it more. That makes the individual feel more connected to what's actually going on.
Yeah.
Anybody can sponsor a beanbag toss. Anybody can sponsor, a dizzy bat. But, does it make sense for you to sponsor that?
Yeah. And my favorite new example of that when we were talking about marketing stuff is I sat down with Tyler and Walker and just talked through some of the different options, and the pitch that they sent back to me a little bit ago was if Kinetic Spine and Sport sponsored the 7th inning stretch. And that is just so ironically hilarious to have a chiropractor sponsor a 7th inning stretch. But as a chiropractor, I don't want to sponsor any other inning.
No.
That is perfect.
That's your inning. That's something that fits perfect with what you're trying to do, what your brand is, all that kind of stuff. So you're hitting everything that you want. And then on top of it, like you said, you're attached to it more. You're more wanting to do that than if I were to pitch you. Do you want to do the dizzy bats during the 3rd inning?
No. Yeah, probably not.
Probably not. But, to somebody else, that might be the perfect thing that hits all of their demographics, hits what they're trying to do.
Yeah. So I love it. It's seeing that level of marketing knowledge and application get put together into stuff.
Yes.
So super cool. I'm trying to think of what else. Give us just another example of, you guys do a lot of different specialty days over there.
Yes.
So share just a little bit. I know last season there was a big Taylor Swift day.
Yep.
That was a huge hit from what I heard.
Massive hit.
I didn't attend. I was busy that day.
Yeah, I would say that was probably the second busiest day for the Habaneros, and barely got beat out for the first. So, one of those things where it's like, I think we were on to something there. Got to kind of keep going with that. But, we've got 36 home days for the baseball, 21 home days for the softball. You got to find something to do on almost all of them. If not, you're just going to run out of things. One that we've been kind of looking at for this year is we've been talking with the Peppers. And they have brought up that, they have their big classic tournament around the 4th of July. So we were playing with the idea of, let's do an opening ceremony.
Cool.
Let's, theme it around them, make it all about these girls who are coming in for this tournament. Now, nothing's in stone yet, but it's still all in the pre-planning, pre-processing, trying to get all that going. But it's one of those where it's like, that right there is going to make those little girls' day. Maybe even their summer, because they're going to be in front of a couple thousand people being recognized for just coming to this tournament and playing. Well, that's not a Taylor Swift night, but it's a big night that brings a lot of people in, similar to like a bobblehead night. We're trying to get a couple of those set up onto the schedule because everybody loves a bobblehead.
Right. Yeah. And being in women's athletics as a coach, as a supporter, in college, the swim team that I was on was a men's team and a women's team. So I just think it's so cool that women's sports has such a big presence in Mankato.
Yes.
And to not let that get kind of pushed to the wayside. but to take advantage of that.
I think last year might have been the best year to have started the Habaneros, just with the fact that the women's basketball team won it all. That kind of kept people in mind of women's sports throughout the summer because they were constantly doing their little around town, showing off the trophy, they're winning. And then we were able to put out such a high quality product as well and win another championship for the town in women's sports.
Right.
So like that's just another one of those areas where you just kind of go, could it have been a better time to like jump on a coattail and run?
Right. And I'm just thinking like through this last weekend, I know MSU women's soccer just won the quarterfinals, so they're in the semifinals for NCAA. I think the women's basketball team won. I know the women's swim and dive team that I was a part of had their midseason meet, and I think they won their big midseason invite. Pretty sure.
Yep.
So it's so cool that we have this. It's not necessarily just a sport, but it's women's sport across the board is super supported, and because of that, we're making these opportunities.
Correct. Yeah, without the people there already having these strong programs at MSU in women's sports, I don't think bringing in a women's team like Habaneros would be as successful because there isn't that backing already in the town.
Totally.
You can try to make that, but having that backing here is just going to make it that much more successful.
Yeah. So off of that success, like what is the plan, I guess, for like next season? Are there changes that people should expect in terms of like scheduling, travel? Like
so obviously this year we were trying to get another team in, or trying to get multiple teams in. It was only one team that was able to join this year, and that was Wausau. So this will be the first time, from what my knowledge, since 2007 that a Mankato team has traveled to Wausau to play.
Okay.
So that's kind of a cool little thing. If the fans want to follow on the road, they got a reason to go to Wausau. If not, it's a beautiful park. Definitely take a look at it on the broadcast. It's one of the best in the league.
Sure.
It sounds like they're expanding the roster a little bit. Adding in like the temp players first half, second half, like they have on the baseball side, as a way to get more girls the opportunity. They don't have to commit for the entire season. If they want to do, something in the beginning of the year to the end of they can do that. Where baseball, there's something on the other end.
Sure.
These guys are trying to get into, independent ball, drafted, play in the MLB.
Yeah.
There really isn't anything there yet for the girls on softball. Sure. There is a professional league. It's just not as big. There is the Olympics, but that's one team. How many girls are on that team? There's so many girls playing at the college level.
Yeah.
So this kind of gives them something because they want to get the reps, but they also need to make some money for next year.
Sure.
So they need to go find that job, work that for a little bit. It now gives them that opportunity. So there's going to be more faces.
Sure.
Bigger roster size. They've fixed a couple of the pitching rules that were set up based on like the baseball side. And the pitching is different on softball.
Got it.
So they talked to softball pitchers. They figured out what they needed to do to change it. So there's probably not going to be as much of pitching changes as there was last year. Because we would hit that 35 pitch mark or 34 pitch mark.
Sure.
Pull them out, get a new girl in there. She'd finish the inning, and then that girl would go back in the following inning because she could still finish.
Got it.
Well, most of those girls would have only thrown 40 pitches in that inning.
Right.
We just extended the game by 4 minutes. Let's not do that. Let's change the ruling on it just a little bit to make it more conducive to what they're already doing.
Right.
So those are a few things that are definitely changing on the softball side that I'm excited to see.
Yeah. Well, and it's cool that the league is flexible enough to do that, right?
Yes.
To kind of get through a season and say, okay, here's where we had some obstacles or some little hiccups here and there. Let's do something about that to get the product to the next step, make it a little bit better.
Well, this is new to everyone.
Yeah.
Summer collegiate softball is very new. So, like I said, nobody knows what they're doing in the sense of, like, we have ideas. We know what we're doing in that sense, but, like, the fine-tuning. Every single year there's going to be little fine-tuning, just as there still has been in baseball for 31 years in the Northwoods League.
Sure.
It's constantly going to be changing just a little bit to make it more appealing, a better product.
And better for the players,
and better for the players as well. Yeah. Why are you coming here to play if you're not going to get the reps that you need?
Yeah.
So this is a way to help them get those reps.
Yeah. And that was one of the, I think, the coolest things for me when I got to meet some of the Habanero players last year is I would ask them, what do you think about this season? Because I grew up playing baseball for forever.
Yep.
I played until I was 30-ish in various leagues. And I just remember the different experiences in different places. High school ball, summer ball, wood bat league ball. And not every league has the quality of ball that you're looking for.
Right.
And the feedback that I would get from the players was, one, they just loved their team here.
Yes.
Like, they couldn't stop talking about how cool it was to play with other young women from across the country.
Yes.
Also at various levels.
Yes.
And then be in a space where it just worked. Like, that is so cool. But then the other thing that they talked about was, like, it was good softball. Like, everybody played hard. It was competitive. And it wasn't just getting reps, but it was getting good reps in good places.
Exactly. And that's, I'm glad that you heard that too, because I actually spoke with Sailor Hall a little bit when we did the championship trophy tour and just kind of picking her brain about, like, what did she like. And that was a lot of what she told me was just, everybody kind of got along. It was cool to play with people from different levels and seeing, oh, you play at this level, but you're really good. You can play at a different level. And seeing some of these girls who did move from the JUCO rank into Division II or from Division III into Division II, that's what this is about for them.
Yeah.
Is for them to get those reps, and like you said, quality reps, not just any rep, and show to people that they can play against Division I players, play against Division II players, and succeed, and get that opportunity themselves to play at that level.
Right.
So that right there is probably the best part about working in this, is seeing those kinds of things happen.
Yeah, seeing people create those opportunities for themselves, basically.
Absolutely.
And with all the fun portal NCAA rules and changes, which is its whole other topic, but for right now, athletes are in a position where they have all sorts of freedom to look at all sorts of different opportunities. So to be in a space that produces that in a unique way is super valuable, in my opinion.
Yes. And I think the quality is only going to get better.
Yeah.
As the years go on, I mean, the Northwoods League, they started out and the quality wasn't always there in the sense of, like, first year, what are you going to do? You just get what you can. And for it to be as high of quality as it was year one, and I mean, going back into the Northwoods League baseball side, I think it was 99, the All-Stars beat Team USA.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's quality ball.
Yeah.
And
that's not by chance.
No, that's not by chance. It was like a 17-inning, 1-0 game. Classic game. Yeah. But that, they were getting quality reps.
Yeah.
And that's the point of this for them, is to get those quality reps for those girls and the guys on the baseball side. So that's the best part. I'm glad that you got to hear that too, because that's a great feeling from a front office side.
Right. Yep. Are there any other fast pitch leagues like this?
There are a couple similar, but we are the only one that kind of mimics what a professional schedule would look like.
Okay.
So there are, I believe there's like a Florida Gulf Coast League.
Okay.
That's, no fans. You just kind of go there and play scrimmages. From what I've been told, I haven't done too much research into it, but it's, you kind of go down there, you get put onto a team, you play games 9 a.m. to noon, and then you just kind of relax.
Sure.
I mean, not a bad spot to do it when you're down in the Gulf Coast, but,
right.
Are you getting the quality that you could be getting up here? Are you getting those kinds of things? When I was looking over some of this stuff last year, I saw like a league down in Omaha. 4 to 6 teams, I think it was, but they're all based in Omaha.
Sure.
So you're traveling maybe 20 minutes from park to park, where these girls are actually getting the experience of, we're having to travel to Minot, to Wausau, to Madison, to La Crosse. Those aren't 15-minute drives. Those are 2+ hour bus rides that you get to spend that time with your team. You get to bond. You get to experience just different things across the country where... So yeah, I think this is truly a one-of-a-kind, its own echelon of a league. And that's not trying to be biased in the sense of
Sure.
like I work for it. It's from what I've seen, there's not a lot out there.
Yeah.
In the similarity of what the Northwoods League Baseball has put out there for many years.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of kind of the Northwoods League and broadcasting stuff, one of the things that I've learned, I think, probably the most over the last couple years of talking to you guys and also knowing Tyler Cook from playing high school ball with him, knowing Watts from playing with him, is the production team and video team and whatnot that we have here in Mankato isn't average.
No.
So share a little bit about some of that, because I've gotten to get bits and pieces of that.
So Brendan is he's the evil genius behind it all.
Yeah.
He basically created everything for the league and how it runs on the broadcast. Without him, I don't know where we would be.
Yeah.
So as much as it is a crew thing,
Yeah.
I think it really comes down to having that strong leader.
Sure.
And without a strong leader, we wouldn't be in some of the situations that we've been in. We have won best broadcasting crew. We've been that was in 2018, I believe, 2019. In 2021, we won game day coverage on the MoonDogs side. This last year, we won game day coverage on the softball side.
Mm-hmm.
We take it serious here. We want to make sure that people get the best experience that they can, even if they're not at the ballpark.
Mm-hmm. And
we get talked to by like the head ump all the time because we love watching your games because we can critique our umps.
Oh,
because
interesting.
we can see all the plays. You guys are you're hyper focused on making sure that the play is caught.
Yeah.
Well, some teams, they worry about, who's in the crowd and all that kind of stuff. And that all has a place.
For sure.
It's just you got to find out where to, weave it in
Mm-hmm.
so you don't miss the play.
Yeah.
Because that's what the people are really tuning in for.
Yeah.
They want to see their kid, their grandkid, their brother, their
Mm-hmm.
cousin make that play.
Right.
As much as, somebody might want to see their grandpa, sitting off on the dog pound.
Right.
It is something that we try to show,
Yeah.
but it's about, showing the broadcast, showing that.
Mm.
And we take it very serious. We have meetings every day about, every game day. How are we going to be setting this up? What are we going to be doing? We break down film just like an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
We watch back game days
Mm-hmm.
and go, hey, you're a little off here. Let's, move over a quarter of an inch.
Sure.
And that's the line that I want you to be on.
Sure.
So where some teams, it's just kind of a, hey, you're on camera.
Mm-hmm.
We try to take it to the next level and put people into a position here where they can go on and do this as a career. One of the guys, Tanner, he was a camera guy for us in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
He's now traveling the country doing motocross camera work.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like a bad gig to me.
Sounds kind of cool to me. Yeah. Yeah. Super cool. Where, you mentioned if you're not at the game, we still want people to be able to get a good product.
Yep.
Where do people have that? Because that was the other thing that surprised me a little bit.
So we're on ESPN Plus, and we're on our own streaming service, Northwoods League Plus. So, yeah, the fact that we're on ESPN Plus is kind of a big deal. Mankato was the first team for both baseball and softball to be on ESPN. So we take that with pride.
Yeah.
Things happen. It's live TV.
Sure.
So do we look back at those days as, fond days? Maybe not so much just because of what happened, but it's live television. And working in live television has taught me a couple of things, and the main one is you have to have a short memory. You have to be able to forget that you made a mistake, because everybody's going to make a mistake.
Yep.
And it's just what you do to move forward from that mistake. And that's something that you can use in your life.
For sure.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
But I think doing it on a regular basis, working in live television, it really teaches you more on how to put that effort into other parts of your life where it's I made a mistake. Okay, move on.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason to dwell on it, because if you dwell on it, especially on live television, you're going to miss the next play. And then you're going to miss the next play.
Yeah.
And then you're just going to beat yourself up. And then it's just a bad broadcast.
Yep. Totally. Yeah, I can't remember where I was at, but we were out to dinner somewhere or something like that, and they kind of asked, what do you guys want on TV over by our table? And we were a bunch of sports people, so it's I don't know, just find something. And so they pulled up ESPN Plus, and they were going through, and I was like, habaneros?
Mm-hmm.
Like Mankato habaneros? They're like, go back to softball, we want to watch that.
Well, and to speak about that, because of it being on ESPN Plus, especially like in a time when like sports are kind of not at their peak. There's not a lot going on. You really just have MLB and a few other ancillary events going on. We're at the top of that ticker when you see it. Like, oh, what are your options? The first game for the Habaneros this year that was on ESPN was the most watched across both baseball and softball.
Yeah.
We had over 15,000 people tune in just to watch that one game.
So crazy.
Yes.
So cool. Awesome. Well, let's just wrap up on that, right? Thank you
Absolutely.
For taking the time to jump in on this. Thank you for making this all happen.
Absolutely.
Like it's been a fun project for us.
Yes.
We've got to do some different things, and I know we're learning a bunch on our end, and
keeps me sharp.
Yeah. It keeps things sharp on your end, which is, I guess, kind of the theme of this is, like you said, like put out a good product, have a short memory, get ready for the next one.
Absolutely.
And then just keep chugging along. So, awesome.
Well, thanks, Luke.
You bet, man. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you to the production crew that makes this a thing. And we will catch you guys next time.